Hey guys, Eric and Joshua here. Talk about a big event that Marvel just announced recently, which is The Death of Wolverine coming to Marvel Comics. That is a pretty big title. Joshua, what do we know about The Death of Wolverine?
Well, last year sometime, Wolverine got a virus that burnt out his healing factor, so he's no longer essentially immortal. So, really what they're going to do, they're going to have the 3 Months to Die, which is a storyline written in the main Wolverine series by Paul Cornell. And that's going to lead into this big event comic called Death of Wolverine, written by Charles Soule. And, they've sort of been the writing's been on the wall for a while. They've been setting it up for a good while now. And what I actually find most interesting about it is that Paul Cornell is not writing it, and neither is any other notable Wolverine writer from the past decade or anything like that. So they're having Charles Soule, who recently just broke into comics last year, made a big splash. He actually got IGN's Best Comic Writer of the Year, so he's been doing a very good job.
Yeah.
We're a big fan of his work, so we're definitely not angry that he's on it. But you might think of someone like Jason Aaron, who just finished this massive X-Men run that he's been working on for over a decade, since he got into Marvel Comics. So it's an odd choice, but very, very interested to see what they're going to do with it.
And because Marvel has said basically that this is for real, they're really killing him. As you mentioned, the healing factor, that was always their out. I mean, it got ridiculous. I know Wolverine got basically blowing up, all his flesh burnt off. He'd get better, but this time they say this'll really stick, right?
Yeah. They say he's going to die, and they're gonna. With the story, from what we know about it, is that he's going to the word is out that he doesn't have his healing factor, and all his villains from all over the years are going to gun for him, wear him down, and eventually, I don't know who it's going to be. You'd imagine it'd be someone iconic like Lady Deathstrike or Sabretooth, someone who's got really personal, who takes him out, or someone I don't know who it could be, but he's going to eat it.
All right, so Wolverine dies. What do you think the ramifications are on Marvel? I mean, this is obviously one of their most popular characters. He appears in a half dozen comics a month, it seems. So how will this affect the storylines in Marvel to take Wolverine away?
Well, like I said, it's we've got the general idea this might be happening for a while because he's a part of the Avengers. He's a big part of what made the Avengers the big franchise they are today. But yeah, he kind of quit recently. He's like, I can't do this anymore. It's almost happened off panel, but he's gone. He's not in the Avengers anymore. He runs a school, much like the Xavier School for Higher Learning. It was called the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. And he's pretty much distancing himself from that, and Storm looks to be taking over and be the new headmaster of that. So there will be a big hole left, and there aren't any big name mutants on the Avengers aside from Wolverine. So there's they lose their representation on the all-star team of Marvel Comics. So yeah, his presence his loss will be felt.
Here's the big one. When they announce a big death like this, when do you think he's coming back? Because I don't think anyone can believe Wolverine will stay dead forever. That he's just too iconic. He's too much of merchandising, movies like Logan, Wolverine is so big. So I feel like he's coming back. It's just a question of how soon. Is it a month later? Is it 2 years later? What do you think?
Well, the general rule seems to be with big name characters, at least, is about a year.
Right.
So, Captain America, Batman, and Spider-Man have all died in the past several years, and they came back after a year. So I think that's how long they'll look for a year of Wolverine-free Marvel Comics.
But here's the question: is that all those characters you mentioned, that there was always someone who took up the mantle, right, and became that superhero. So they were still publishing a book called Batman, called Spider-Man, Captain America, just someone else wearing the costume. Wolverine's a little different in that he doesn't wear a mask all the time, first and foremost. It's he's just walking around as Logan. And there doesn't seem to be that obvious thing of someone who would take over the role. Is there? I mean, he had a son for a little while, but that's out of the question now, right?
His son, spoiler... His
son
is dead. His son is dead. But he does have a female clone, X-23.
That's true.
She could possibly be the new Wolverine. Her actual profile has been raised. She's been a big part of all new X-Men recently. And so that could happen. She could be the new Wolverine for a while.
I feel like that seems the most likely to me, is give the title Wolverine and that, both the comic book and the character who would be in an X-Men to her. Do you think that's probably what they're going to do?
It's really hard to say, but like I said, her profile has been raised and she's been a more prominent character recently, so I think it could happen for her.
Gotcha. Well, guys, let us know what you think about the death of Wolverine. Do you think it'll stick? If it doesn't stick, how long it'll last? We'll have plenty more coming up as this event reaches its fatal finale.
Rest in peace, buddy.